So here we're going to work with the stick. The emphasis is on stimulating the reflex points on the foot here. So we use a tire stick. It has a thin end and a thick end for varying the pressure. So the thin end's going to feel more pointed, the thicker end will feel less so, and they tend to have a serrated edge as well, which can also add a different effect. And there are also various ways of holding the stick. You can hold the stick like a pen holding technique to work points. You can hold it like a knife. Can also be held with the thumb extended. Or another way is to hold the stick as an extension of your arm. The stick in any of those positions can also be reinforced with your other thumb, so that can help emphasise the pressure in those techniques. So for this section, to begin with, I need a little bit of cream on the stick, and then I'm going to apply that cream just to the top half of the foot. So holding the stick like a knife, and I'll just hold the foot and apply the cream. Just around this area. And then hold the stick with your thumb extended. Point your thumb towards you, and use the thin end of the stick. Using your other thumb just behind the channel, thumb slide up and down that channel 10 times. Up and down. And then at the end of the channel, raise your elbow and apply some pressure just between the knuckles at the end of the channel. So up and down 10 times. Raise the elbow, thumb press at the end of the channel. And again, each time you're moving your thumb underneath the foot to just behind the channel, because that will just open the channel. 10 times up and down, and then raise the elbow and press. Again, just checking with your client the pressure's okay. And then I'm going to turn the foot laterally, and holding the stick like a knife, slide down the medial arch of the foot. So sliding down the medial arch of the foot 10 times, about 10 times. And then the same on the lateral side of the foot. So change hands, turn the foot and slide down the lateral arch of the foot here. And then onto the sides of the toes. We're going to work using the serrated part of the stick here. Hold the toe quite close, and slide up and down on the side of the foot 10 times. And then the inside of the toe. And then a couple of half twists in the webbing between the toes. Onto the side of the next toe. And over into the webbing. And over. So it's important just to hold quite closely and hold the toes apart here as you're working. And then we're going to use the tip of the stick on the tip of each toe. So extend your index finger between the toes, use your thumb to create pressure on the tip of the toe, press and then slide off. But as you slide off or flick off, it's into your finger, not into their toe. So you press 1, 2, 10 times on each toe. Onto the next toe. So again, you hold quite close, support the toe, press and flick off 10 times on each toe. Again, some of these can be quite tender, so again, just check with your client, make sure they're okay. And then we're going to use the tip of the stick underneath the toes, just between the knuckles of the toes here, and just draw a line up and down at the base of each toe. Onto the next toe, up and down. So here I'm using a pen holding technique, and on the big toe. Now I go on to use the side of the stick, and I plant my hand into the sole of the foot, use my thumb to create the pressure, and press and slide across the balls of all the toes. So you're wiping across from the big toe towards the little toe. The thumb creates the pressure. Again, you use your body slightly as you rock in, working across the balls of the toes. And then we're going to use the stick around the pad of the big toe. So use your thumb as a guide here to come down and around the ball of the big toe. And then we draw 3 lines down the sole of the foot, laterally, down the centre, and then medially. So here, again, use your finger as a guide on the outside of the foot, and you can use your thumb just to create some pressure. And then the centre line, don't use too much pressure, just draw a line. And immediately and then we're going to zigzag across the sole of the foot using the stick, and here you will need to use your thumb as a guide. So across the top of the heel, up, zigzagging across as you come up, and then back, zigzagging across and back down. We'll keep working up and down so you cover the whole of the foot. It can feel quite sharp, quite pointed, but there it's nice after that technique to use the side of the stick up and down on the sole of the foot. So again here, definitely using your body, rocking forward as you slide down and leaning back as you slide back up. So the pressure's on the way down. And then using the tip of the stick across the top of the heel. So split your index finger and the stick, squeeze together at the top of the heel, and then just draw the line across the top of the heel 10 times. So you're just flicking across, working from the medial arch out to the lateral. Again, 10 times, that same line across. And then down from that line you've just drawn, strike down on the heel, working all the way across now, all the way across the heel of the foot. Some pressure here is quite nice on the heel of the foot. And then hold the stick in your fist, thumb on the thin end of the stick, and we're going to hack the heel with the thick end of the stick. So support the ankle, and then elbow wide, just hacking the heel of the foot, not the sole of the foot, just the heel. all around the heel of the foot. It's then important to dry the stick. Dry your hands and also dry the foot. Make a good job of drying the foot. It's important there's no cream left on the foot. So we don't want to slip when we're working the reflex points on the foot. And then you can use various techniques, various ways I've shown you of holding the stick. It's personal preference really as to which you use. So working through your map of the points, we're going to start on the big toe, and the first point's just below the tip, between the pad and the tip, and they're leaning in, working the frontal sinuses, and then we work around onto the second point, the nose. So here I could press this way or change hands even, working into the foot. Again, try and make the pressure gently increasing, so as you lean in, pressure gently increases and then off and it decreases. Onto the temples, number 3. Pituitary gland, coming down to point 5, brain stem, and 6, the neck and the throat. And then again continuing on along the rest of the toes. So that same point, not on the tip, between the pad and the tip, press, 7, 8. So again, these are all frontal sinuses. 9. So we're looking to generally stimulate each point. And then at the base of the toes, the ears, the ear, and again the ear, onto the eyes, and then the hypertension point, base of the big toe, and then onto the parathyroid, and to the thyroid gland. Coming down below the balls of the toes, in line with the little toe here, is 18, which will be on the left foot it's the heart, and on the right foot it will be the liver. On to point 19, which is different. It's going to be different on the right foot and the left foot. Here on the left foot, and we've got the spleen, and on the right foot that would be the gallbladder. And then onto the solar plexus point. This point can be slightly sensitive sometimes, so you may decide to use the thicker end of the stick. Gives a more general pressure. So number 20, the solar plexus, and then down point 21, the adrenal gland. Again can be slightly quite sensitive, so you may again use the thick end of the stick. All of these points again, just look at some feedback. And 22, the kidneys. In the centre of the sole of the foot you'll feel a spongy area. Again, I would say for this point use the thicker end of the stick. And now we're heading down towards the inside edge of the heel here, towards the urinary bladder. 23 is the ureter, on its way to the urinary bladder from the kidney, and then to the urinary bladder see this puffy area on the inside of the foot, inside of the heel, of the urinary bladder. And then we come back up along the medial arch of the foot for 25, so onto the stomach, down slightly to the pancreas, and down slightly further still for the duodenum, the small intestine. And then we're going to head across 28 for the transverse colon. So some of these are just points in areas, so it's not necessarily a specific point. It can often be a whole area, so with practice these points will come. 29, again we're working across 29, small intestine and the descending colon. So on the left foot this will be the descending colon, and on the right foot the ascending colon. So descending colon on the left foot, across to 31, so the rectum will not be apparent on the right foot. 31 here to 32, around to the side of the heel of the foot, sciatic. To the insomnia point at the top of the heel, just at the top of the heel. And then sex organs in the centre of the heel.